Hey everyone, welcome back to Corporate Decoder, the place where we unpack the confusing world of corporate finance and expose the naked truth behind the numbers. Today we're cracking open Our Group Holding Limited, tell you it's a wild ride from Hong Kong to BVI with a few interesting financial maneuvers along the way. So who is Our Group Holding Limited? Essentially they're a holding company, meaning they don't really do much themselves. All the action happens with their subsidiary ALLSS based in Hong Kong. They offer corporate consultancy, tax services and company secretarial services to small and medium-sized businesses. Think of them as a one-stop shop for all your business administrative needs, especially if you're looking to operate in Asia or the US. Now let's dive into the money. They have about 19.2 million ordinary shares out there. For the year ending March 31, 2025, their total revenues were around 13 million Hong Kong dollars, which translates to about 1.67 million US dollars. That's a 8.7% jump from the previous year, which is a good sign. Breaking that down, their corporate consultancy services brought in the most money, about 10.5 million Hong Kong dollars, a 6.6% increase. This growth was mainly thanks to a new financial due diligence service they launched, which really boosted their numbers, although their internal control advisory services saw a dip. Their company secretarial services also saw a healthy increase of 32.3%, raking in about 1.6 million Hong Kong dollars. This bump came from new requirements for British Virgin Islands companies to file annual returns, and ALECS was there to help. But what about costs? Their total operating expenses actually went down slightly by about 65,000 Hong Kong dollars to roughly 5.5 million Hong Kong dollars. That's a good thing. The biggest cost reduction came from their direct costs of revenue, which fell by almost 9%. This was mainly because they had one less employee compared to the year before. Less staff, less payroll costs, simple as that. However, their general and administrative expenses went up by about 9.5%, mostly due to higher legal and professional fees. It seems getting everything in order for a public company, even a smaller one, comes with a hefty price tag for legal advice and audits. Despite the rise in admin costs, all this led to an increase in their income from operations, which went up by about 1 million Hong Kong dollars to nearly 7.5 million Hong Kong dollars. That's a pretty solid improvement in their core business performance. And their net income for the year ending March 31, 2025 was a little over 6.2 million Hong Kong dollars, or about 803,000 US dollars. That's an 18.7% jump from the previous year, showing they're becoming more profitable. Now, something interesting here is their provision for credit losses. It dropped dramatically from over 100,000 Hong Kong dollars to just over getting much better at collecting payments, or perhaps clients are paying up more promptly. That's a good sign of improving financial health in their client interactions. Looking at their cash flow, they generated nearly 6 million Hong Kong dollars from operations. This is great because it means their core business is bringing in actual cash, which is always a positive indicator. On the flip side, their financing activities show they used cash for things like IPO costs, which makes sense if they're preparing for more public market activity, and they also paid out dividends. They paid out about 4.7 million Hong Kong dollars in dividends this year, which is a significant chunk of their net income. This suggests they're returning some value to shareholders, but it also means less cash is being reinvested back into the business for growth. Let's talk risks. They have a fair bit of accounts receivable, about 9.5 million Hong Kong dollars. While they have a provision for losses, it's very small, indicating confidence in client payments. But here's a red flag. A significant portion of their revenue and accounts receivable comes from just a few clients, a classic risk for any business. If a major client leaves, it could really hurt them. For example, in 2025, one client alone accounted for almost 28% of their accounts receivable. That's a big bet on a single customer. They also acknowledge a lack of effective internal controls over financial reporting, identifying several material weaknesses. This is concerning for any public company, as it suggests potential issues with accuracy and fraud prevention. While they plan to fix this, it's something investors should keep a close eye on. A major point is that their CEO, Tak Ching Anthony Poon, holds a massive chunk of the company's shares, over 68%. This concentration of ownership means he has a lot of power, and his interests might not always align perfectly with those of other shareholders. This is common in smaller companies, but it's a factor to consider. Scale. Failure in our information technology, ITED, systems could cause interruptions in our server scale. TVM also mention a risk of failure in their IT systems, which could disrupt their business. They rely on third-party IT providers and don't have in-house IT staff for cybersecurity, which adds another layer of risk. Now, putting it all together, what's my take on Our Group Holding Limited? Their business seems to be chugging along with steady revenue growth, especially in their core consultancy services. The increase in profitability is a positive sign. However, the heavy reliance on a few major clients and those acknowledged weaknesses in internal controls are definite areas of concern. The high concentration of ownership by the CEO also means decisions will likely align with his vision, which could be good or bad depending on your perspective as an investor. The company is doing okay, delivering steady if not spectacular growth. The move to launch new services like financial due diligence shows they're trying to adapt. However, they're walking a tightrope with their client concentration and the need to strengthen those internal controls to be truly robust. So that's our take on Our Group Holding Limited. What's your opinion on these numbers and what they signal about the company's future? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. If you found this analysis helpful, smash that like button, subscribe to Corporate Decoder for more in-depth financial breakdowns, and definitely join our Discord community linked in the description if you want to connect with fellow finance enthusiasts. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.